Let's change gears now and ask you, what does your morning routine look like other than immediately waking up and switching on ABC News Breakfast? Do you even have a morning routine, or is the temptation to hit that snooze button simply far too great?
That's a morning routine. Hitting the snooze button is actually a morning routine.
It is for lots of people.
Yeah, it's one of my morning routines, to be honest, most days. Well, performance coach Andrew May is an early riser, and he is convinced that we should all follow his lead. He joins us now. Morning.
Morning. I'm not as early as you, Sue, but I do.
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah,
Andrew, we're beating you on that front.
So what time do you normally get up?
Between 4:45 and 5:30. So if I'm out wearing lycra and drinking coffee, it's called cycling. If I do that, I'm up at about 4:45, or most days about 5:30. But back to you. Like, you're up. What time are you up this morning?
3. About the same, Mad?
I'm up about 3, but because I don't normally do this show, I have to say that I normally get up at about 7, despite setting the alarm for 6 every single morning and promising myself to get out of bed and do good things.
So you hit the snooze button?
I'm a snoozer.
So you're one of these people I'm really interested in, and I'm fascinated by this topic, and having been a coach for a number of years, I find there is a pattern. So what we do first thing of the morning tends to have a big impact on productivity, energy levels, and also that ability to focus or be distracted. And there's a lot of research around this, but even anecdotally, getting into a good routine of a morning, watching ABC News Brekkie, as you said to start, but exercise, there's a whole lot of things we can do to set the day up.
We can bring some dot points, so some of the practices that are true to you and some of the clients you've worked with over the years, and kicking up with, we talked about waking up early. How important is exercise once you wake up?
It's imperative. So the waking up early, Mike, is you have to do that to fit everything in, right?
Yep.
A lot of people say, I don't get time to exercise, or I don't get time to meditate or to plan my day. Get up half an hour earlier. Get off Facebook the night before. Do you really need to spend that extra 30 minutes on social media? But the exercise one, it really warms up our brain. So, you know, we know exercise stimulates the heart rate. We get endorphins through the body. There's oxygen and glucose. But I find exercise wakes up my brain. So even this morning, a quick walk, 5 or 10 minutes, because I don't want to be sitting here at 6:30, comatose. So it really does help wake up your brain by moving first thing of the morning.
Meditating is your next tip, and that's really come to prominence, public prominence, I suppose, in the last 3 years or so, hasn't it? But I guess you've been doing it for a while. What's the science behind that?
Look, I teach it. I'm trying to do it. And I looked at Michael when you said meditation, and he almost went into that lotus pose.
Well, you're not called Yoda for nothing.
This is the one I struggle with. I tend to find meditation better of an afternoon, but there's loads of people, like lots of CEOs, lots of executives. Ariana Huffington really talks about how she went from being crazy to being more controlled by building in 5 or 10 minutes of meditation. I'll often sometimes breathe, sometimes, just to be present. So, and I'm sure you two do this before the cameras roll, is get into a state so you're ready to perform. Come back to this space, meditation, I'm working on.
Okay. And lots of people skip this next step, but it's very important to have something to eat. And if coffee is your poison, to drink as much of it as possible to get your day started.
Yeah, I don't know about much as possible. This is normally where Virginia jumps onto me. How much coffee can I have? 2 or 3 cups of the percolated stuff a day is okay. But again, breakfast, it's a platform for our energy levels. So that protein with dopamine helps us learn. I wouldn't be advocating a whole tray of chocolate biscuits.
Ooh, what have you got for us, Andrew?
So Andrew's very kindly brought this in. Let's just bring it up and have a look. So what is this, Andrew?
Oh, I didn't bring this in. This was brought in for me by your wonderful producers, and we won't mention any names, but I'm questioning whether a tray of chocolate biscuits is what we call a high-performance ritual to start the day. And all jokes aside, when we talk about rituals, habits is what we do without even thinking about it. Rituals is more focused and more of a routine.
It'll work for me. And interestingly, you've worked with various people over the years, including for a time the Australian cricket team. Tell us about some of the techniques. I suppose it comes down to organisation as well, having a plan when you wake up. For instance, Glenn Mcgrath, for one, had a particular plan which worked for him.
Yeah, I don't think Pidge had chocolate biscuits first thing in the morning. But yeah, Glenn was one of those athletes who a lot of people look at and go, yeah, he's the best fast bowler we've had, but don't realise how much goes behind the scenes. So he had a routine, 90, 60, 30. Every day on tour, 90 minutes before the bus left to the Oval, he'd be in the pool and he'd be stretching. 60 minutes, he'd be having brekkie. 30 minutes, he'd be in the waiting area, ready to go. And I asked him about this because it was like clockwork. He'd always say, see you tomorrow, and you'd wind back 90 minutes. Why do you do this? He said, as I'm getting mature, as I'm getting a bit older, this helps him get going and takes away the stress, so then he can focus on the real stuff, taking wickets and winning games.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you about something, because I read an article a couple of months ago which made me feel very good, which said that night owls are more creative and they're more successful, and I was like, yeah, that's great. That's
yes,
me.
It works for you.
I'm creative and successful. That's because I hit the snooze button every morning. How does that equate with your empirical data which shows that actually you're more successful if you wake up in the morning? Can you be successful and be a night
I can
owl?
see you getting excited about this. Yes, you can. And I think it's dangerous to say you have to be a morning person to be successful, because we've got a lot of people watching TV now going, they're not right at all. But when we look at chronobiology, that's the study of your body clock. What it shows is there are more people who have more of a routine of a morning that can get on with the day. But yes, a lot of artists, a lot of creatives, a lot of musicians tend to jam, tend to paint into the early hours of the morning. So whether you're a morning person or a night owl, it's finding out what is your chronobiology. And even if you're a night owl, though, I would advocate getting a routine or a ritual when you start the day.
Right.
Which is not chocolate biscuits. Can we just make that?
They sometimes work, Andrew.
There's lots of people watching going, yes, this is fantastic. I'm loving this. Chocolate biscuits.
Yes, don't follow the dietary advice received on ABC News Breakfast. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us, as always. Great to get your insights. And yes, have a biscuit that rhymes with yim yam.
Special treat for him. But of course, tell us what your morning routine is. Are you the chocolate biscuit persuasion, or are you the exercise and meditate
He's
persuasion?
eating a chocolate biscuit, see? This is a man bristling with health and
This is good.
Yeah, good. I'll take your word for it.